Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to Cinema Scoop, your favorite Wednesday cinema news, of course. We've got both Sci-Fi Quest and Mr. Sidetrack, Sir Jamie down there. We're going to do a couple different fun things today. We've got two Rushmores to start out the day, and then we're going to talk about, well, maybe not so fun, another round of strikes from IATSE this time. This would be the second time they've struck in about 4 years in total. I think it was 3 years ago was the last time they did strike. Yeah, no, another strike. I know.
Don't mention the set word.
What? But yeah, so and after that, of course, we might discuss a little bit of Avatar: The Last Airbender that is coming out tonight, and if we get to it, a little bit of Bad Batch. You know, we got options. We got options. And I guess there's Halo tonight too, so we got lots of options. But let's start this out with a couple Rushmores. The first one being, you want to go old guard or new guard? Big or
I was 100% prepared for this, so 1 second.
This one's going to be a little bit so Rush. Be prepared. We got this.
Yeah, 100%. I'm 100% on board. Go with the biggest studios first.
Okay. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to separate big studios and small studios. We're going to have to differentiate for ourselves, but I think we'll get the gist of it pretty easily. Someone like Jamie just mentioned, Jerry Bruckheimer, a minute ago. He may technically have an independent studio, but that's a big freaking studio. So it's going to classify as a big studio versus a small studio, so on and so forth. I would think, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but like Brad Pitt's production studio, that would still probably be considered small. It's not on huge movies yet, you know? But like stuff like that. I mean, he was on One Love. He did produce One Love. So his film company just did do that. But yeah, let's start with the big studios. I'm going to say 20th Century Fox, post and pre-Disney, is probably on my Mount Rushmore of just the big studios that have ever been. They're consistent, always have been. Their repertoire is amazing. So amazing that Disney bought not just the X-Men for it, but everything. And now they just added 2 more films in the Avatar films to the highest grossing films of all time. Yep. And of like the top 10, Disney has how many? 6, 7, you know? So I would think 20th Century Fox, just because of what they add to everything, they're on my Mount Rushmore.
Hey, Sarah. I'm going to throw, as the big ones, I got to throw MGM up there because they brought us Stargate. I know they're now owned by Amazon, but they were traditionally one of the big 5. And to be honest, I've just got MGM because I'm doing this Stargate marathon thing on Friday.
But of course,
join me.
So you're now an MGM Plus subscriber.
You are?
You said you're now an MGM Plus subscriber.
So I've joined MGM to get it. I'm going to turn my volume up. One sec. So I've joined MGM to do it, and the movies on there are amazing. There's so many great films on there. It's insane. I can't believe I haven't been paying for it for ages. So yeah, I'm very happy. So yeah, MGM, come on, all day.
I think that's good.
Studio. I'd pay $8 billion for it.
I'd pay $1 billion for it.
I'd pay that for $1 or $8 billion.
Melvin, are you adding somebody to the Rushmore? And real quick, are we going to do independent Rushmores? I think we should do one agreed upon Rushmore to keep it a little more simple. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a little bit of a struggle, to be honest.
Yeah. This is one that might have needed a little bit more pre-thought, but
there are a lot.
There are a lot, but these are like the big ones. I think the independent ones are going to be even more difficult, though.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm desperately looking through.
Blackjack, I'd say MGM, definitely.
You can't have MGM. I had MGM.
We've got MGM. We've got 20th Century.
Yeah, think for yourself.
Be part of the joint one, right?
We need 2 more.
What Jamie said. No, think for yourself, damn it.
Just to give you an idea, big studios. You have the Jerry Bruckheimer studios. You have, I guess, why am I blanking on their names? Horror. They're small. Bloom. What would Bloomhouse? Because they've done so many big films, but their budgets are always small. I think they still technically classify as a small one. But I would think Bruckheimer Films, Disney, Paramount, Warner Brothers, big studios like that. I think,
There's so many.
Well, there are, but what is the one that stands out when you think big studio? What's the one that gets you going?
I suppose something like that. Universal, maybe.
There we go.
At least I didn't say MGM again.
Well, are we good with the three so far? We got MGM, 20th Century Fox, and Universal. Yeah.
They're also some of the ones that you see the most when we were younger, aren't they, Jay?
Yeah, I think so. Like MGM. That's a good idea. Why don't you just go with MGM, Melvin?
I would have, but you said it, so.
I think Paramount, it would be on there for me as well. I mean, again, another studio that's in serious trouble at the moment. But you look at their filmography, some of the films they've brought us over the years. I mean, dear Lord, some of the greatest franchises ever made.
Really? I mean, I'd put them over Warner Brothers, but I don't know. Paramount or Disney is what I'm thinking.
My only problem with Disney is I think they're better for the company they bought in Fox than actually things they've done themselves. So that my favorite stuff that Disney has done is Marvel, Lucas, and Fox. It's stuff they've acquired. The Disney films
and Pixar
and Pixar. And don't get me wrong, I love The Lion King. I love all the old 60s Disney movies and stuff, but they're not in the same. When I watch Disney Plus, I do not watch the Disney stuff. I watch Fox, I watch Lucasfilm, I watch Marvel. And it's classing Marvel as a small studio just because it's owned by Disney.
It was a pretty damn big studio before. Not sort of, kind of. That's a good question, honestly.
Was it? Because I put it on my list as independent studio. So was it? Was it a big studio?
I mean, it became one really quickly in a way, and it was very corporate in structure and in layout. But I don't know. That might be an interesting caveat. Put Melvin, you down to put Paramount on there instead of Disney?
Yeah, but what about CBS?
Oh, okay. It's more TV, but it's a big studio.
Yeah, but
it
is. Yeah. And they did bring us some of the best Star Trek.
And a lot of other shows.
Yeah, that's more Paramount that did the movies, but but yeah.
CBS was behind most of the shows, weren't they?
I'll tell you what, I've just found a brilliant one.
I don't know. If we're keeping it cinema, I would totally say Paramount. But if we're including just everything, that is a good question, and it would kind of make me rethink the question in general too.
Right, stop the video. Start again.
Okay, so we're going to do 2 Rushmores today.
Marvel was an IP rather than a studio. No, it was a studio. They actually started to produce their own material before they were bought out by Thing. And to be honest, it's in the title. It's called Marvel Studios.
It's also
they actually have their own offices. They have their own sound stages. They are a subsidiary of Disney, yes, but they are a studio.
Listen to Laura. She knows what she's talking about. I'm just saying,
And don't forget to come and join me on Friday as well. I'm going to keep saying that. Please, God, come and join me. I'm going to be
Friday in y'all's time of the world, tomorrow in our time of the world. Or in the
I started. No, I start at 7 a.m. So it's still going to be Friday, but it's like 7. It's like 3 in the morning in America.
Oh, okay. Well, I might join a little late.
Well, I'm going to be talking to myself for the first 5 or 6 hours. It's fine. Don't worry.
Well, you might actually get me delirious because I could totally be watching Avatar: The Last Airbender till 6 in the morning on accident.
Oh crap! Does that come out on Friday?
It comes out at midnight, right? Or does it come out a little earlier? I guess it'd be. 8 a.m. for y'all?
That'll be me Saturday then. I'll have
It's
to
around
watch
about
Saturday.
8 a.m. for us, I think.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It's going to be a busy couple of days of watching, which I'm all right with. And there's a couple new movies coming out this weekend. I don't know if they're going to be big or not, but we'll check them out.
I can't wait for
okay, but for our Cinema Rushmore for big studios, our big four, I guess, because we might have to work into the TV studios one day too. We got Paramount.
And we got to put Warner as the last one, haven't we?
Well, there's only four. So we've
Okay.
got 20th Century, Paramount,
MGM,
and am I
MGM twice because
yeah. What? Universal. There we go. Universal.
Okay. Well, not Warner then. For me, though, Warner Brothers is like I would put it in just for the cartoons, But beep beep, Roadrunner all the way. Just that. And Bugs Bunny was always my favorite cartoon when I was a kid, but you can't really.
Would you have it over 20th Century or Universal or what? Who?
No,
either.
I probably wouldn't. Maybe Paramount. It's only Paramount that I'd argue maybe they're head to head. Universal. Could you imagine if that watching every movie and not having that globe at the start with blah, 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 how many films of that, have you just like
big, huge film
that happens? Yeah, exactly. That starts, sit back, happy days. Yeah,
that's true.
Now, Universal deserve a lot of credit on that.
So, Melvin, any quarrels about the top four?
Nope.
No? We're solidified on our first Rushmore of the day.
He's still just thinking about MGM, isn't he? MGM was a really good idea. I
was actually thinking about Friday the 13th, which was a Paramount production.
Columbia's a good one, and it's owned by Sony, which Sony's also brought us a slew of great films, but they're also a little newer, so they're not the ones I would think of, but they totally fit into the big.
They've also give us a slew of shite.
They've also done that, and it's been more recent too. I did see Madam Web last night, and within the first minute and a half, I had my hand over my eyes like this, and I was chuckling to myself.
Am I the only person on planet Earth that was not offended by that movie?
I would, as someone in the film industry, I was offended by it, and like just because people's lips don't match up to what they're saying.
I did notice that a few times.
All the time.
Seemed to be off.
It hurt me watching it. I mean, it made me chuckle, but and chuckle in like I want to throw something kind of way,
somebody mentioned that in our video, and I was just like, I thought I was imagining it.
No, it's frequent, and it's everybody, and there are certain parts that you can see they kind of held a frame and prolonged what would have just been a normal conversation, so they could add in the ADR of someone else talking and putting in extra dialogue. And then just like Dakota Johnson just kind of hanging out, like responding to it in the background kind of deal. I'm just like,
because one of the things was that the CGI didn't offend me. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. The CGI isn't bloody offensive. And all the way through I'm thinking, I'm sure that's slightly out of sync.
Yeah,
or they did the voiceover from behind, but you can plainly see the person's lips aren't moving.
Or they're not moving at all, which is like totally they're not talking. And it's probably them a still frame or the actor's just standing there and they're like, okay, stand there for a few seconds. We'll just add in dialogue. But, if you're going to be talking something, you should have a little cadence to your speech or something. I don't know. Too many expectations for a Sony movie. I would rather watch.
I had no expectations. My expectations were down in the cellar with all the rats and the mice and the squirrely things in the dark. So I came out all right because I was really expecting an awful movie, and I'm just like, it was okay.
I was expecting a bad movie, but I'm the happy optimist that always is trying to find something good in one of these movies, and there was just the only good thing in that movie was every time Adam Scott was on screen. He was perfectly fine. He held his parts of the thing up, and besides that, Emma Roberts was even in there, and she was like, I think Emma Roberts would have been fine, but her little cameo.
If led it would have been all right. I think. I think they cast Madam Web wrong.
I think
they
just
cast her wrong.
But yeah, the original dialogue was worse. I hope not.
I can't imagine
I mean,
that.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like for go back to the Mount Rushmore thing though.
yeah. We got one
Would
more.
New Line Cinema class as a big studio or a little studio? Because they have brought us some amazing movies over the years, and they've done it by being different. You know.
But they're almost always in cahoots with like a big studio. Cahoots,
Yeah.
that sounds bad, but like they're always like
they're independent, aren't they? They're independent of the big five. So I think, yeah, I've got another suggestion for the independent in a minute that is always in cahoots with bigger studio, normally Columbia or Sony, but
Okay.
they are an independent studio and they do actually produce most of the material. Sony just really pay for it. But that's New Line. You think about like the first Blade movie, that stood out and really changed sort of superhero movies for
it made the first like good one.
Yeah, and Marvel are now trying to like recreate that with their new Blade movie, and they can't seem to do it. But the list on New Line Cinema movies over the years is kind of insane, considering they're a relatively small, production company.
Would they be on the same scale as say a Lionsgate, or would they be like almost like half a size down, or almost?
I think they're in the same ballpark, aren't they? As somebody like Lionsgate, and again, I think Lionsgate is a good shout. They're independent. They always work with other people. I'm going to have nobody watching Friday because I forgot The Last Airbender came out on Friday.
Well, you can always pivot and do a 28-hour stream and do Avatar: The Last Airbender as well.
I really can't.
Then you can pay for Vegas as well.
I'm gonna be struggling sitting down for 17 hours to watch Stargate. No, mate, I've made a plan. I'm sticking with it. I'll watch The Last Airbender on Saturday.
There we go.
Just gonna have to do it.
New Line's Lord of the Rings. But that was also Warner Brothers and a couple others. But New Line first and foremost, thankfully, because they made it right.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I stick with that. We'll go with that.
Yeah. Well, sticking to the Mount Rushmore thought process, shall we jump into the small studios and figure that one out? Because I think we're already piecing what's small and big together.
I got one shout straight away.
Oh, yeah?
A company called Escape Artists. They are owned by Steve Tisch and Todd Black and a couple of others. They generally work with Columbia. They have a first refusal deal with Sony. They did A Knight's Tale. They did the Equalizer trilogy. They did the film Knowing with a person, an actor. I just think they're a brilliant production company. They always seem to smack it out the park. Dr. Death, brilliant. But they do a lot of stuff with Columbia, and like I say, they have a first dibs deal. The Man from Toronto and Netflix, that's not great, but that's a pretty good film recently.
Was it funny enough to watch?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
But Knight's Tale is one of my favorite films. The Equalizer trilogy is just fantastic. The third one wasn't great, to be fair, but they're just one of those production companies that I like pretty much everything they do.
I mean, everything it looks like they've done some fantastic stuff. Okay, I'm not super familiar, but they look pretty damn good. Melvin, you got
the eye. When you look at the eye, you'll see. Now you're watching a film and you'll see it pop up. You'll go, them.
Mm-hmm. I do recognize that. Let me type in the right thing for once. Technology, y'all. But Melvin, you got anybody off the top of your head, studio wise, smaller?
Not off the top of my head. To be honest.
After a quick,
say Escape.
It's difficult.
The what you said, Farscape?
No, I told him to say Escape Artists.
Oh.
The funny thing is, I was going to. It's the only one I could actually think of.
Well, an easy one that I would toss out there would be Neon. I'm a big fan of Neon.
I love Neon. You know, it's where I know where the chippy is because they got the big neon light at the front.
Yeah. Neon light and Neon. Yeah, they've done the Bowie movie recently, Harmony. They've done a whole bunch of things, though.
Oh, but
I
honestly,
believe
one
they
of the
did.
ones that keeps playing around in my head is Toho.
Ooh, that's a great one. That's a perfect one. I love Toho.
That's all I can think about right now for some reason. I don't know why.
Asylum.
Uh-huh. Toto's a good one. Shall we look up Toto?
Toho. Yeah.
Do it.
Toho, man.
Yeah, Toto was a dog.
A dog in
Toto, yeah. I said it too many
on the
times.
Yellow Brick
I started
Road or
mixing
something.
stuff up. But the Godzilla Studios. Focus is great.
Focus features, yeah. I like Focus.
House of Ninjas is by Toho. Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great shout. That's a great shout, Malvin.
Pretty much a lot of the good Japanese stuff is Toho.
Yeah. You know, I said I was gonna say Toho.
Spirited Away, is it Toho? Did Spirited Away too? Do they do all the Studio Ghibli?
Does Golden Harvest still exist?
Shall we check it out? Well, we probably should do this.
Because they did all the great martial arts movies back in the day. I mean, man, the films they used to produce.
It looks like they might have done. Oh no, CEO Ho Nam Young from June 1st, 2020. So they've had somebody new since 2020. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll check all those. My other suggestion though was going to be Film District. They did a film called Old Boy with Josh Brolin a few years ago. And it's still one of my favorite films. I just love that movie.
You've seen the original Old Boy, right?
Probably not, actually.
Oh,
I didn't know there was another one. So there you go. I didn't look into it that much.
It's based on, I believe, a Korean film.
Oh, that's why I don't know then. But I just loved the film. I just thought it was great.
I don't even want to say it, but like, if you watch this Old Boy, it'll make you not like the Josh Brolin Old Boy.
No, I love the Josh Brolin one. I just love Josh Brolin. It's
a good thing you saw that one first, but it'll make you it'll lessen how much you like it in a way because Old Boy is one of the best films ever. Honestly, it's probably one of the best top 10, 15 films.
I actually, say this now. I have a funny feeling I did know there was an original, but I just love Josh Brolin. I thought he did a great job in it. I thought it was great.
He did great, and it was almost shot for shot, and that's for better and worse, honestly. It's one of the better shot for shot remakes that ever been made. I don't think Psycho with Vince Vaughn shot for shot remake is one of those, but Josh Brolin is the man. He can manage it. Okay, so somebody mentioned Marvel a second ago. Not Marvel, excuse me, Netflix. I think Netflix counts as a big studio.
I think
they are one that we probably should have considered, but I don't think they're on that Rushmore for cinema.
I always thought that Netflix was more of a distributor than.
Yeah, they do have studios though. They do have their own studios now.
Yeah. They do.
They have for a few years. They bought one of the big old studios, didn't they?
Oh, Raleigh Studios. They bought Raleigh Studios. Their entire studio base, their home base for physical studios is Raleigh Studios.
Yeah. I mean, but in the last 4 or 5 years, they've actually started to produce their own things. Before that, it was all in partnership with other people. Warner Brothers produce a lot of their material. They've got a big partnership with Warner. Before that, I mean, even like the Marvel stuff or Star Trek, when Star Trek was CBS, and Netflix just bring a couple of quid to well, you show that in the US, and we'll show it internationally, and then we'll just put that it's a Netflix production when it's not. But we'll throw you a few quid.
Yeah, it's like Sundance, but for streaming.
Sundance is a hell of a. If you're talking about an independent, would that be a big? I think that's probably a big production.
I think Sundance would count as big, and that honestly, I might have to relook at what we were just saying a minute ago because Sundance.
Well, I would say 5 years ago. I'd say 5 years ago you put Sundance on the small one, but now, and if they get Paramount, they might get Paramount. Yeah.
Yeah, which would be kind of interesting. I think Sundance getting at least a good chunk of Paramount would be something I might like more than a lot of these other options, honestly. Ooh,
Bad
bad reboot. Ooh. Hey.
Bad reboot.
Bad Robot, though, a couple of years ago, you'd have said great, but they've,
I don't know about that one. When Star Trek was
Bad
going
Robot
on,
did bring us Buffy the Vampire Slayer on TV, didn't they?
they did many great things for like a decade and a half, and then they decided to pick up Star Trek and Star Wars, and
they didn't do Buffy, did they? That was
No.
Mutant.
Well, that was Joss Whedon, huh?
I know.
Yeah, that's the same thing in Buffy. They did not.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you'd catch me out.
The great stuff they did do some great stuff though. I still think Fringe is one of the best, like, sort of sci-fi shows of that time period. It was brilliant.
Would Bad Robot be old enough to be part of Alias too, or would he founded it? I don't know.
Miramax is a good shout there, Dave B.
Really?
iStar's owned by Sony as well.
Alias, they did do
on my list, actually, is big. iStar's on the big list. Rambo, Cliffhanger, things like that.
Yeah, Miramax might even be on the big list too. Searchlight is in it like specifically for small though. I don't know. What are y'all thinking for this Rushmore? Because we've kind of named a lot of these, and they're all viable in their own ways. For me, A24 should be on that list though. I haven't really said anything, brought it up. They're the biggest small studio in a way, and they don't have any like goals, presumably, of kind of like doing $200 million blockbusters or anything like that. So I think they're like the epitome of what current independent cinema is, at least.
The BBC. Can we have the BBC? It's a small. They make
small?
movies. They make movies.
Small though.
They make small movies.
But they make
Sky make movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Sky
made an Idiot Abroad. That's the favorite thing ever.
Yeah, Channel 4 movies. Channel 4 movies is actually a genuine. I was taking the piss with BBC and Sky, but actually Channel 4 is not a bad shout. Yeah, probably.
Well, I wouldn't say defund the BBC. I'd say obliterate the TV license.
Yeah, we don't need an entertainment tax anymore.
No.
Y'all have a what?
Channel 4 though, production. Channel 4 has actually made some really great movies over the years. You know, 4 Weddings and a Funeral was Channel 4.
Oh, really?
And productions and things like that. You know, so they have actually made some great movies over the year. Oh, Film 4. Is it Film 4? They might be called.
Yeah, it'd be Film 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They've made some great films over the years.
Oh, did they do frickin' Poor Things?
I think they were involved. Yeah.
Well, I agree with you.
Really like
Trainspotting.
They do really like proper indie movies, you know, films that nobody else would make.
I mean, they're literally going up against themselves with American Fiction and Poor Things.
Yeah. This Is England is a great movie. That's a brilliant movie. I mean, it's properly like violent, but it's a great movie.
This is that new one with Paul Mescal and what's his name? I forget his name. Moriarty from Sherlock. Another BBC thing. I can't remember his name. And Andrew Scott, that's his name, I think. Yeah. Maybe.
Peter Moore just said that Channel 4 is in trouble. He is. About 5 years ago, Channel 4 went to the government and basically said, we need money or we're going to go under. In 20 years, they said, we need money or in 20 years, we're going to go under. And I'm like, that's a bit defeatist. I mean, it's like, in 20 years, I support you better than that. I think that in 2 decades, you could turn it around.
Yeah, you don't have any faith in yourself to turn that around?
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Who is? Film 4 doing new Sherlock Holmes or BBC?
I think that's BBC.
That's a continuation of the series, isn't it? I remember correctly.
I think he's coming back, aren't they? They're doing one with Benedict Cumberbatch. And it was rumoured. I don't know if it's been announced, but it was rumoured that Benedict Cumberbatch was going to do another one.
Yeah, I saw something the other day. I think it was. I saw something about that.
Was it announced? Was it cool?
Please. So
I'm sure if it's 100% announced, but it's possible that they've announced that they're working on it. I haven't read the article myself. I just saw it in a glance, and it was like,
it is one of those.
Sherlock Holmes coming back.
Yeah, I always enter the thing. I loved the first couple, but then the last couple have been so disappointing. I'm not that excited.
With
If
Sherlock,
I saw it, I'd be like, yeah, Sherlock. I'm like,
I loved it all until I think the very bitter end, and then it did sour on me a little bit. But just give me more Benedict Cumberbatch, Sherlock. That
no number bitches. I love Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is one of my. I loved all the stories when I was a kid, and I read the books all the way through and everything, all the short stories and everything. I'm actually going to see a play, and it's one of those immersive plays. So it's dinner and everything as well. And dinner is like, so the whole set is like done like 221 Baker Street. So it's like you're in the play, and then who's the assistant is the woman he I forgot.
I couldn't say off the top of my head.
But anyway, she's like, she does dinner and cocktails. I can't wait. It's going to be so cool. And then there's a play, and the one actress in it is brilliant. I can't remember her bloody name either. But anyway, yeah, this is a fully immersive experience. I can't wait. Going in August.
That's like a great date night thing to do.
Yeah. It's in London though, so my wife can't come, unfortunately, because.
So is it just you?
Yeah, I completely forgot what David said. I forgot about Lakeshore.
Yeah, no. It's the girlfriend's going. She's fine. She enjoys it. Lakeshore's on my list. They did Bulletproof Monk. I love Lakeshore. They've done so great.
Yeah,
that's the one with the kid running up and he goes into the thing. Is that's their logo?
Real quick before we jump off the Sherlock, would y'all rather would y'all rather like a movie with Benedict Cumberbatch doing like a Luther movie kind of deal, or would you rather?
Oh, yeah. But wonder what you meant then for a second.
A third Guy Ritchie Sherlock with.
Oh well, we're getting that as well. So
for sure, because
I think so.
I hope so.
I'm pretty sure that's been
believe it. Well, until they start filming it, I truly just don't believe it. It's just they've announced it so many times, and we need to
have a look.
Even if they do announce it, it's not like there's a possibility of cancelling them. After all, they are not Disney, so.
Haven't they done that already, like once or twice too? Though, like they've screwed.
Don't they all?
We just got to do it.
Don't they all?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes 3. It's been in production.
Like production.
It's in production. That's what IMDb says. Dexter Fletcher is directing, which I love because Dexter Fletcher is a guy that came over here and did a TV show when I was a kid. Now he's a director. But he's a good. He was in
Lock, Stock, and Barrels. Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah, he was in Two Smoking Barrels.
Okay.
How he directed Ghosted recently. It's a good director. He directed Rocketman as well. I'm Bohemian Rhapsody. But he's a good. He's good mates with
Press Gang.
Guy Ritchie.
Johnny Jr.'s been in the works for a while. Yeah, I'm glad it's actually in production because I wouldn't believe it until I saw something, But that's something. That's a little something. I like it. But back to Rushmores. Small Rushmores. Small. We're half an hour in on Rushmores. I love it. But this is a hard one for like smaller things.
I think Lakeshore are a good shout. I like Lakeshore. I think Channel. I think Film 4 is a good shout though. They've done some great movies.
Can we put A24 on there for sure?
Yeah, we can put A24 on there.
Okay, so we got A24. Lakeshore. Can we agree upon Lakeshore?
Yeah.
Melvin, 3 out of 3. Yeah.
That's my impression of the boy running into the lake. Nobody seems to care, but I think it's funny.
This is wonderful.
What's funny is you doing it.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I wish I had a glass of water now. I could and then throw a glass of water up.
No, that's what it's going to look like after the stream when it gets up to go for a
small Rushmore under the big Rushmore.
And then if I go dead because I've thrown a glass of water all over my laptop, which would be a brilliant idea.
We'd go viral very quickly. It'd be beautiful. So we got A24 and Lakeshore.
He electrocutes himself.
Do we put Neon? Do we put Film 4, Searchlight?
Film 4 and Searchlight. I'm not a man. Neon's all right, but I wouldn't. They're not getting my vote.
Okay. I can understand that.
You can outvote me, though. It's your stream. You're in
Well,
charge.
and agreed upon. So we got this one.
No. On Sidetrack, my word is final, and here your word is final.
Yes,
I give you permission.
currently, I'm saying we're democratizing this one. Maybe not all the time, but this one.
In that case, you can't have Neon then, because I don't want you to.
Melvin, where are you at with Neon? Are we giving it the boot, or are we kicking her? Keeping her. Oh, ew.
Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it, Melvin.
For what?
What was that?
That's the cat growling at the dog.
At the dog. Come on, dog.
It should be the other way around, right?
Yeah, stand up for it, man.
Jay?
He's a big old softie.
I don't need a catheter. Just wait until I was gonna, for my. I'll tell you this really quickly. I was gonna do a little snippet video for when I do need to go to the loo and stuff, and I've got the Stargate theme tune, and then me singing. Don't worry, I'm just going for a wee. I'll be right back. I just need a wee. I'm coming back. But it sounded so bad I had to delete it. It's awful.
We should get like Matt to play with it and add some like auto tune or something.
No, it was awful.
We'll make you into T-Pain.
But yeah, I might have another go tomorrow. No, 50,000. If I ever get 50,000 subscribers, I said I'm going to do thing. But if we ever get to 49,999 subscribers, don't be surprised if Sidetrack just ends immediately.
Just stop immediately. Have AI sing. Hey, there we go. That's not a bad idea.
That's a good idea. I could do that.
Put your voice into AI and just train it on your own voice for half a day, and then it would sing as you and say, sing it in pitch, in key.
I'm just going to take the laptop with me when I go to the loo.
Okay. All right.
You'll see my poo face.
Then you can do that run, jump, splash, and flush.
Or you could get a wheelchair and just cut out the center of it and just stay prepared.
I've got to get a commode from work.
Just a commode. Yeah.
I work in social care. I'm always giving commodes to people. I'll just go get myself a commode.
Hey,
or man nappies. You just see me going, and that's my wee face. And I just wee in the nappy.
Well, it's effective. It is that.
We're all going to end up in them at some point.
I hope not.
Well,
fingers crossed. Knocking on wood. Something all the above. But speaking of all the above, we already did the above, the big Mount Rushmore. So what about the small?
I don't care anymore. We've been talking about man nappies for the last 5 minutes, for God's sake.
We got to finish it. We got A24. We got Lakeshore. I think we gave the boot to Neon. So do we have Film 4? And then are we sticking with Searchlight, or do we got?
Oh yeah, I think Searchlight. I like Searchlight.
Searchlight.
It's that happy medium between a lot of things. I like it too. Okay. Is that our Rushmore?
Done.
Booyah! We got it. That's 2 for 2. Taking us at Boagua.
I'm going to look up Searchlight films now.
All right, so now that we're really kicking it, we're kicking into high gear now. Let's talk about what that thumbnail is mentioning up top. IATSE. I was about to try to say what IATSE stood for, and I do not remember.
28 days later. They did 28 days later.
Oh, no way. Did they do 28 months later? 28 years later?
And the full Monty. I didn't know that.
Monty's good.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
No. But I was just trying to think of what IATSE stood for a second.
So who's going on strike now?
IATSE, it seems to be. So 3 years ago was the last time they struck, and at that time they actually struck, and I think it was right at the end of when I was on Euphoria, and it kind of gave us a few weeks off, which was kind of nice. We were happy about it back in the day. Now I wouldn't be so happy because there was a lot of consistent work at that point, not so much nowadays. I'd be like, So hopefully that doesn't happen. They are, of course, kind of riding on the heels of the WGA and the SAG after strike from this past year, and they're kind of asking for higher wages, manageable health benefits, fair streaming project pay, and then AI and CG tech concerns are the four kind of
Sorry, isn't this
cornerstones.
the stage actors strike guild
What?
people? Isn't it
The-
stage actors?
No.
The backstage people,
What's
isn't it?
what's IATSE then? What is it?
IATSE is this is everybody who works
Yahtzee.
on set.
That dice game, Yahtzee.
Yahtzee. No.
Yeah.
IATSE.
People that like to play Yahtzee professionally want more money. Is that what we're talking about? Right.
It's a whole new
Okay.
strike. It's an insane industry, but it's an up and coming one that's doing really well online. And
Seriously, though, what do they do?
Say what?
So seriously, who are they?
No, so IATSE is like the crew, the production people behind the scenes. They're like the backstage folk. They're the people that are holding the camera. They're the ones that are running food back and forth, doing crafty. They're the people on set that are holding the booze for you.
They'll shut everything back down again. Then, if they strike, they'll shut everything back down again.
Everything's done if they're done. Everything, besides of course non-union stuff, but. IATSE still worked with non-union projects, I believe, up until semi-recently. Maybe not. I might be totally wrong on that. But there should be some non-union projects, but those are far and few between comparative to what SAG tends to do. So
if they go on strike, I'm telling you now, they will only accelerate the death of Hollywood.
No, I agree.
The
only, I guess, thing that we can hope for if they do go on strike is that if they do that it is a short one, because the last time they did, I believe it was only let me Google it real quick, but I think it was only maybe a month. Last IATSE strike.
At one point during the strikes, was it Paramount reported they were losing £13 million a week?
Okay, it's the last one lasted 19 days. So I think because these guys are so just that they're pertinent to literally every step of the way. You have to kind of like, there we go. The International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. There we go.
That's why I thought it was a theatre thing because it had theatre in the title. I looked at it earlier, so I thought, it's just the theatre. Who gives a crap? But no,
because they're technically part of SAG in a lot of ways. Sorry, I was AFK. Who's going on strike? The International Alliance of Theatrical. I almost said theatrical stage employees. But could they have gone on strike at the same time as SAG? No, because it's based off of contracts, and I guess their contract was a 3-year. I'm assuming the last time.
Trying to stop the cat from attacking the dog, especially the other way around. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Well, the dog just moved into the
cats living together. Total hysteria. Do you know, like, my life generally is based around the fact that if I ever got the opportunity to quote Ghostbusters, I'm happy for the day. So I'm good.
It's not a bad thing.
It's all happening underneath the
That's
seat.
basically what my life, 90% of my life is based around is, can I either say, that's what she said, which I love doing, any quote, any possibility of saying that's what she said, I'm happy. I giggle to myself walking away. It doesn't fit. That's what she said. all the time. And quoting Ghostbusters.
I think Jamie is Steve Carell. Are you Steve
I
Carell?
I've had a very, very long day today. And if you want to see more of this nonsense, it will be on Friday because oh man. It's going to be a long day.
Fun.
This is me. This is tired, Jamie. Getting a bit, wanting to go to bed. It's been a long day. I saved someone's life today, though. I've had a good day.
Okay.
Genuinely did. I'll tell you after.
Okay. All right. I have so many questions.
And I don't get a medal for it or anything.
Yeah. Now that you've announced it, you have to get a medal. The Queen has to knight you.
She's dead.
Oh, that's right. And
the King's not well.
I'm not a big fan of monarchy, so I'm kind of not opposed. But sorry, y'all. Anyway, what time does the stream start? We are having a fun day, kind of. But anyway, back to IATSE. They are asking for, like I said, the cornerstone is higher wages, manageable health benefits, which those two are kind of more reasonable, of course. Fair streaming project pay. With streaming, I just to hang on that for a second. I wonder if they're going to, just because a lot of the things people have been bringing up while the last pair of strikes was going on was residuals.
They can't get
Do actors
residuals.
and
They can't get residuals, surely.
But I wouldn't think so, and it's never been the status quo per se. But with the amount of, I guess, talk that every time people were talking about the strikes this past time, people were saying residuals, and you would get kind of both ends of it. Where okay, maybe why do actors need residuals over someone that put 3 times the amount of time and effort might be a weird thing to compare there, but someone that at least spent more time and spent more days on set was there for a lot more of the intricate aspect of the process of making the actual production itself. Why do they not deserve residuals in their own way? And there aren't really any industries in the world that do work on residuals. So I wonder if that is just going to be brought back up and they're going to try to utilize that a bit.
So somebody like a chippy that comes in and does building sets or something, they then deserve residuals. No, they get paid to come and do the job, and go home. It's a bit different for an actor because the actor is, and the writer, to be honest, because their work is so important to the success. So if something is successful, I think they do deserve a cut of that thing. But also, it's a lot of the time it's in the contracts and things. But no, a chippy or an electrician or somebody just holding the boom mic, they deserve residuals now. No, come on.
Well, if they're there for the entire
project, for their job, they go home.
Yeah,
anybody can do it.
I can see the argument on both sides because obviously as the actor, I would like residuals myself, of course, but
yeah, but
they are nonsense in a way.
Your performance leads to the success or failure of that project. Somebody comes in right now. If it was something to do like the CGI people, and they're saying we want residuals, I'd be like, okay, you've got an argument there because you're an artist and your art does contribute towards the thing. But the catering staff, they're getting residuals. Come on. An electrician that comes in and does the lights, they want a residual?
I don't know about that. It's more, I would think it'd be the people that are working on a specific production for the entire length of production. It wouldn't be someone that would be a hired hand.
Residuals?
Technically, they come under the trade for that work, don't they?
The what?
Trade work.
They come under a trade for that work, don't they?
Yeah, but all acting is under a trade as well. It is distinctly under a trade work as well. So I think it's going to be an interesting thing to be talking about for the next couple months here. Hopefully not months. Hopefully it's just a few weeks kind of deal. And hopefully they fix everything and breakdowns and get it all together before everything comes out and before contracts have to be signed. They got it all figured out. But we're looking at another set of strikes because not only is this one coming up, but the SAG video game strike should be happening sooner than later. I don't have the exact timeline on that one off the top of my head, but it's coming in 2024. Their contract runs out soon too, so
I'm 46 years old, mate. I couldn't care any
one
less
of the
about
reasons
gaming.
one of the reasons for the IATSE strike wasn't that to do with CGI tech concerns as well? Because if they're building the sets, then the invention of the LED wall is going to affect their
virtual
jobs.
sets of the future. So
it's going to be virtual sets instead of physical sets.
There's still an element of physical sets, but not as much.
Yeah, but it's not as big a project anymore, is it? It's going to be like, just the foreground, that's it. Nothing else.
At the moment, the virtual sets are really just replacing green screen.
Yeah.
So there isn't that. I'm certain it will impact it a little bit, and maybe they do want some reassurances. But on the whole, the LED screen basically just replaces green screen. It's better than green screen basically, and it makes it for the depth of the pictures better. And
it's almost better than green screen.
And acting off of that is so much
very close.
Yeah,
very close to being better.
But the acting, like you said, you can react straight away. But it's also better for the directors because they can see it straight away and they can change things straight away.
For the cinematographer, for everybody.
Yeah. So they do. It is is good, but yeah, it's mostly just the background.
So I signed something that says I can't say anything about what I was doing. So I'm going to be very cautious in how I say
Nobody's
this.
watching anyway. Just tell us.
Still, I don't have enough money.
Woman, just tell us. Go on.
Anyway, this thing I was working on, it's very, very new technology, which was really fun to work on, really cool, and it had some LED kind of stuff with it, and it was like the brand spanking new, like it was testing new technology kind of deal. The interesting thing about it was there was quite literally a handful of actors on set, which is less than a dozen, less than 10. And there were about, like, literally within a 3 numbered difference here of 80 people on set working. And that included people that were actually upstairs in like a booth working on computers to put stuff on screens in real time kind of deal.
You actually told me about this, so shall I just tell everyone?
No, I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're referring to.
You didn't tell me. I was. If you did, I wasn't listening.
But yeah, so they're able to do stuff in real time, and it's insane the capabilities of what we're doing. It's going to probably in the future take away a lot of these IATSE jobs, which is their big concern. Like in the future, that will be a big thing. Currently, from very recent experience, I do not believe that's the case, but I do believe it is a valid concern in the future. So I'm just intrigued by what they'll do to play that.
I honestly don't think it's going to, though, because it is two-dimensional technology we're talking about. These LCD screens are two-dimensional. You still need anything you're going to touch or walk behind or whatever still needs to be constructed. But what it allows is, like you said, that instant reaction and instant thing with actors. So I don't think it will. And to be honest as well, it'll speed up production in lots of ways. It'll definitely speed up post. Oh, man, it's going to half post.
Well, you're doing post in real time sometimes, which is amazing.
Post-production can be 2-3 times longer than filming. Easy.
And if you want to do it budgeting-wise, it can take 2-3 years sometimes.
Oh, it's sci-fi and big movies like that. Generally, filming's about 6 months and post-production's about 18 months. Generally, you know. I think it'll halve that. It'll save the studios money. It'll actually be easy for the actors. I think it's a good thing. And if, but the other thing is this IATSE people, they can't. You can't stop innovation. You just can't. However much you want to, you can't. If a new technology comes in that's better, quicker, and cheaper, what business on the planet wouldn't do it?
That's the truth. For both of these things, what business wouldn't do it? And it's also the truth that it will speed up productions, and they need to speed them up because all these strikes are going on. So.
I'm just going to go, but I'm just going to make one more point. I have to go because I have to make tea, and I'm hungry, and it's been a long day. And actually, you don't want me here anymore because I'm very tired, and my brain is just going. But if your industry, and Harris, I'm pointing this at you, your industry keeps striking, do you know who on this planet strikes a lot? Who are famous for it? The French. Do you really want to be the French? Because that's where you're going. You're becoming French. You're going to have to start eating frog's legs. And
those aren't too bad. I'm from the swamp.
Well, yeah,
actually, they did speak French pretty. I grew up near Cajun country, so
you're gonna have to start being arrogant. And I'm just saying, nobody likes the French. Even the French don't like the French.
The escargot.
Yep. You're even worse.
The only people that like the French are the Canadian French because they want to be French.
They like them. They make sure they put Canadian first. I'm sorry. Did you say you're French? No, Canadian French.
Well, no.
You said Canadian
If I remember
first.
correctly, it's
No one can hate the Canadians.
non-French Canadians call them Canadian French, and they call themselves French Canadian.
Canucks.
If I remember correctly.
Well, the French Canadians, that's because they're arrogant, though, isn't it? Because I'm a bit more French. Of course, you call yourself French
Well,
Canadian.
that's the French part of them, isn't it? The arrogant.
that's the French being burning through. And all I'm saying is, Hollywood.
My favorite French are the Cajun French. I'll stick with the Cajun French. I'll be on the fringe outside of it all, you know?
They have the best accent, to be fair. That's a cool accent.
When they do English, it's not so cool. It confuses the hell out of people, and you talk real fast. And I don't do it too bad sometimes, but I'll get into like a ramble sometimes, and people are like, "What the hell did you just say?" And I will have like 4 sentences in the time span of 1. And some people understand it perfectly, but 90% of people are like, "Huh?" And I'm not a true thick Louisiana people. I'm 30 minutes from Louisiana, so those Louisiana people, good freaking luck sometimes. But I love listening to it.
Well, that's excellent. Right. I am going to run, and you can mock me as soon as I've gone, because I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so tired. It's been a long day.
He's got to sleep for 18 hours before he stays up for 18 hours.
Oh God, I don't, because my wife's lovely. She's got a new job, but she has to get up at like really early. So we're getting up at 6 a.m. every day. And me being a numb nuts thing, I'll get up with you, babe, because I'm a bit of solidarity. It's not fair. You have to get up. And then I'm thinking, I'll be tired at the same time as you, and I love you very much. But actually, the result is I'm so tired.
Well, the second she leaves the door, you can go lay back down on the couch.
No, I'm actually trying to be good. I'm trying to be good. The problem is on Friday, if we get into any boring episodes, the video will be like this, and you'll just hear it.
I don't remember. I think we were talking about it, that Lee Syed video on the Church of What's Happening Now, when he just would get fed those edibles and would just fall asleep at the chair. That's the funniest thing.
The first ever live I did on Sidetrack, this brilliant guest called Spencer actually did get drunk and actually did fall asleep during the video.
You posted that again a couple weeks ago.
It just made me laugh so much.
Oh,
God, I love that boy. Yeah, it's just
get him to come on for your 17 hours.
Yeah, there was just Stormy going, Spencer. Anyway, yeah, but please, anybody that's up at 7 a.m.
Comedy gold.
Yeah. A couple of people have already contributed, and thank you so much. I've already got a little bit of money towards coming to San Diego Comic Con. Dear Lord. I only saw that in the corner of my eye, and what the hell was going on with that? And then I just saw the tail, and you freaking out.
Yeah.
Wait, that's not Nugget. Who's that?
This is. Well, I haven't named her. She's not mine.
Oh,
She's a guest cat.
Does she have a name?
Probably. I'd call her cat.
Cat?
I haven't actually.
Give Melvin a nickname for this cat. Come on, chat.
Cat Thief. Let's call it Cat Thief.
She came in. No matter how many times I tried kicking her out, doesn't work.
But then you're there stroking your cat. Be mean to it.
That's my pussy.
Stop. Don't be pussy jokes. Come on, you're better than that, Melvin. You're better than that, sir. God damn it. And I'm more irritated because I didn't think of it first.
Well, at least I haven't got a snake. That would be nasty.
I might get my snake out on Friday, actually, and stroke my snake for a bit.
Do you have a snake? I was like, what?
I've got this massive snake, but it's only got one eye. It's not very well.
It's not very well. That's not good.
Yeah, it's 46 years old.
Massive because he keeps looking at it for a magnifying glass.
Have you never heard the one-eyed trouser snake, no?
Oh no, I have. You just kept going with it, and it made me wonder if you actually had the cold hard reptile aspect of a snake, which I was like, that would actually be pretty cool. I just started imagining like a turban on your head, but a snake instead.
I've also got a sword made from pork. It's a pork sword. No, it's not very useful.
Pork sausage.
Yeah. You never heard it called a pork sword, no?
I haven't heard that one.
That's one of my favorites. Let's spend the rest of the video. Yeah. Why don't I say pork sword? What other one? Schlong. I quite like his Schlong as well.
Yeah, that's common. Peter Jack is always funny.
I'm going now.
Yeah, that's we've hit 1 hour on the dot. Jamie's gone, but now that we've kind of talked, we'll finish talking a little IATSE right after.
Yeah. Yahtzee, French, Jamie out.
See ya.
I love it. So okay, we've got. We'll end up. I know this has kind of gone off the rails, and we've been hanging out. So we'll continue our hangout. I think we're going to talk Avatar, maybe a little Bad Batch here in a second, because I fell asleep after the first episode last night, and I had to rewatch the second and the third ones this morning. Double entendres galore. That's the way to do it sometimes, you know. Keep it interesting, or entendring. I don't know. I was trying to wordplay. It didn't work. Anyway, we talked about the 4 cornerstones of what IATSE is asking for in the preparation for a strike. But what are the best, worst, and middle case scenarios? Best case scenario is the content meets IATSE's demands and everything that they're asking for. Would you agree?
Yeah.
For the most part, I think I'd agree. Middle ground.
Looking at the bullet points that they put up for the what they think will be the proposals. I mean, just was it the higher wages, manageable working hours, improved health benefits, fair streaming project pay, and AI and CG tech concerns. They want to work for Toho. You know, they want a designated sushi chef.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. There's some certain. I mean, A24 I think has been known for doing it better than most. Toho specifically, and then there are a couple other smaller studios that, I mean, they don't even qualify for anything around any of what the strikes are even asking for, because they're so good about what they're doing already. And I think that's just that should be industry standard in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I'm not so much for adding a bunch of red tape to everything. That's one of the things that I kind of dislike about all these strikes, is a lot of what they're asking for is just red tape, which sucks, especially when you're trying to get films made in a more independent cinema kind of way a lot of times. I think a lot of these things are necessary, but the mindset a lot of people are going into asking for these things tends to be iffy. I think IATSE is probably better out of the 3. WGA and SAG is what I'm thinking right there. But
yeah,
just in the way they ask things, not necessarily better in any other format or whatever, but like better in the way they ask for things and in their approach. So I really hope, where the last strike 3 years ago was a 19-day strike and it gave me a couple weeks off of work, that's as much as this one will be, if they even get to a strike. I really hope they don't even get to a strike. But one way or another, this is what we're going to be talking about for the next few weeks, the next maybe month or two. So this is to wet the whistle a little bit, you know? You know, give you a little something, a little taste. But yeah, we can come back to this if you would like. But while we're here, we're going to do Bad Batch over on Sci-Fi Quest tomorrow, more so, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to do a hangout tomorrow and going to add Bad Batch to it.
So, okay. So let's do the most brief Bad Batch little thing we can do. Did you like episode 1? Did you like episode 2? And did you like episode 3?
Episode 1 was okay. Episode 2 was better. Episode 3 was probably the best of the 3.
I agree.
More happens. You know, it took a while for it to get on. Yeah. It's just showing the progress of. I think it's the same thing for the entire show. All three seasons are doing it the same. Start off a little bit, they're okay, then they get better as they go along. So hopefully they're keeping with that.
That's how Dave Filoni tends to work, and I for one love it. A good chunk of it is because I grew up on that kind of stuff. A lot of people are. It's kind of jarring. They're like, well, we want something good immediately. It's like, no, hold up. You got to get to know these characters sometimes before you get to the true excitement of it. And I think we're at a point where episode 1 was, I think it was a really good episode, but it was very much, what was it called? It was called Containment, wasn't it? It felt very much
yeah, it was,
contained. Yeah. And of course it is contained inside of their literal prison of Mount Tantus.
Yeah.
but I think I think by the end of this season we'll look back and be like, that was a great episode because it laid this, and this out. And we're already seeing some of those things that are being laid out come to fruition a little bit, which is cool.
I was just wondering how long we're going to have to wait for Ventress.
I know. But I agree with you. I think SoCar's on the same level as us. We were thinking the first one was pretty decent, pretty damn good. But 2 and 3 were hoo-hoo-hoo.
The progression was much better.
Aye. So the rest, if you want to listen to our Bad Batch discussion, you got to come on to Melvin's Sci-Fi Quest channel tomorrow around noon Pacific Standard Time, right?
Yep.
Is that what he said? Okay.
Yep.
Well, keep your eye.
I have to get used to using a different software because I've got Streamlabs set up for that.
Oh,
my
all right.
StreamYards. But it'll be the same as this. Just click on the link and it'll be just about the same.
Easy peasy. But besides Bad Batch, there is another thing coming out today. A new episode of Halo
Tonight.
Oh, is that not what you were thinking? Oh, we're Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Avatar comes out tonight for you at midnight.
There we go.
Oh no, 3 for you. 3 in the morning for you, isn't it?
No. It should be midnight for me. I think it'll be 3 for East Coast. But
8 o'clock for us.
I think
pretty much.
Sarah looked.
SoCar said it earlier. Yeah.
It might have been too far up for me to find. I'm pretty far up. There it is, 11 p.m. Thursday for us, according to the old Googles. Our 3:01 Eastern time. Okay. So midnight Pacific. Booyah. So midnight tonight. I will be staying up all night to watch this. I'm kidding. I won't. But I'll watch an episode and then wake up and then see what Jamie's doing and then watch another 75 episodes. Just kidding. There's only, I think, 8 episodes. But I'll watch 1 or 2 episodes, maybe go see a movie and come back, report to Jamie again. That's going to be a long stream. But where is your mindset at going into Avatar: The Last Airbender live action for Netflix?
I hope it's not as bad as the movie.
Just from what we've seen, do you think it is going to be better? Or are you okay? I guess the easiest way. Are you fully optimistic? Are you cautiously optimistic with some trepidation added in there? Or are you just?
I'd say cautiously optimistic. Yeah, cautiously optimistic. Yeah.
The trailers I think all looked really good, but did you see that new little teaser that says coming next week when Aang's fighting Boomy in the Earth Kingdom?
No, I didn't. I haven't seen that yet. No.
It looked awful, and that worried me. Boomy does not look good. I don't like that they got a dude in his 30s or very early 40s to play someone who's supposed to be roughly 100 years old. I understand that he's supposed to be some jack dude, yada yada, but interesting choice. Anyway, the teaser trailer, just the bending looked, the earth bending looked pretty on par with the Avatar live action from M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
And that had me worried. It looked a little bit better because he pushed it and then pulled it back, and it was like, okay, well, these guys can do 2 moves in one swing. But
they tend to show too much of the good stuff in the trailers, but then they put out a short teaser, and it's like, oh damn, it's like, oh my god, it's going to be bad.
That's added some trepidation for me because I was kind of leaning towards the pure optimist thing for a little while, and that gave me a little hefty dose of trepidation. But one way or another, I'm pumped for it. I'm intrigued that we're going to get Sozin's comment to start this thing off.
Yeah.
Do you like that idea or no? That we're going to get an elongated intro. I have a few different thoughts, but I'd like to see where you're at.
I don't really know. It's difficult. So we'll find out. We'll find out.
Well,
we'll find out tomorrow.
My first instinct is to not like it, but then also in a live action format, and you're adding Azula in a little earlier, you're adding Ozai in a little earlier. and a couple other characters like Kyoshi and I guess and maybe a little bit bigger of a role for Roku and Kyoshi as well. And I think they what's the other avatar's name? Didn't they? And isn't it Kuruk?
I can't remember.
Isn't it Kuruk? The water
sounds
dude?
like it sounds familiar. Yeah.
Something like that. The cool water dude that died early on, that gave his wife lost her face to Poe the face stealer, or Ko the face stealer. Yep. Excuse me. All the different names. Poe is the panda in Kung Fu Panda 4, which he gets a new movie in a week or so, and it actually doesn't look bad. Which I don't know if I watched the second or third. I know I watched the second one. I don't think I ever watched the third one, but I do enjoy me some Kung Fu Panda. I will admit.
I saw all three of them, but I probably won't watch the fourth one.
Really? How was the third one?
It was. It felt like I was watching a TV episode.
Do you think that's partly because that they had that TV series?
I think it is because they did have the TV series,
and it kind of correlated into.
They lost something when they done the third one. I think they lost something when they did the show.
Interesting.
I think the show came out before 3, didn't it?
I think so. I think so.
I think it did, because I think that's where it lost. It lost something in the translation. The transition back to a movie. So the movie shouldn't be affected by that. To be honest, it should be. Go back and read the scripts for the first 2, for crying out loud. Then work on the third one. Don't just write a show and then
story, and anything from that show.
Yeah, exactly.
Be in addition, like not
should necessarily be a vague references from the show, so stuff that maybe you won't spot straight away. Maybe something like a character from the show that is in like a glimpse of it like sitting at a table in the background or something.
So real quick, I got
makes more sense.
2 thoughts off that. Is one of those would be. Well, I guess 3. I heard the show was still decent. I never watched it, but people did, I think, enjoy the show. And generally, the third one's looked upon all right. Do you think that they were just trying to kind of copy How to Train Your Dragon in a way? Because How to Train Your Dragon is literally one of the highest rated trilogies ever. And there was a show that happened somewhere in the middle. I never watched the third one of that, and I never watched the show either.
There's 2.
But I know
it's 2 or 3.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 shows.
Really?
I think there's 2, but I vaguely remember a third one. Maybe a third one was a special. Yeah.
I've always wanted. I will go back and watch all that before, of course, the live action version comes out, which is kind of interesting. But with that thought process, with them putting a big movie, almost a culmination movie of some TV things happening, are you worried about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie and the Thrawn movie? Do you think that kind of falls prey to the same thing, or?
I think that's possible. It's a possibility, but it's so far off. I'm not concerned with it right now. I mean, when's the movie supposed to come out? It probably won't have the movie until what? Late?
I think it's either late 25 or early 26. Honestly, I think they're the Mandalorian and Grogu is like rushing into production. No, it's 2025, isn't it? Because they're going to do Grogu and the Rey movie, and they want them both out by next year.
Are they still doing the 4th season, or are they going to cancel that?
I think they're still doing a 4th season, but they're putting it on the back burner for this. Is my guess. I'm not positive.
Because I thought the movie that they were going to do was going to tie in for a larger movie, like for the whole collection. So we get Ahsoka and everyone all in one movie to end that off. To end it. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen that way. Because are they going to do Ahsoka season 2? I can't remember.
They are.
But that's going to be a while.
With the whole Dave Filoni format of filmmaking and television making, I'm hoping that does also fall prey to his typical antics of it gets a hell of a lot better quickly and just needs to gain some traction first. But that first season,
I think they need to let Favreau do his thing with the movies and let Filoni do his things with the show. I think that might be better.
Yeah, I mean Favreau, Mandalorian is all Favreau, but not all Favreau, but it's his
Well,
baby.
to start with, it was.
Yeah, at the start, it
The
definitely.
good bits.
Now, kind of just because it's not necessarily just his baby anymore, it would be interesting to see, because if Miss KK does get the boot sometime this year, or if she resigns or whatever happens, there's
We'll find out.
always
in
been a
August,
million
I
rumors,
think.
I
think August was the end of the contract, if I remember correctly.
I kind of remember that being the same. Did you see Garrett? Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second. But if she gets the boot this year, and that were to be the case, or if resigns at the end of the contract, whatever, not renewed the contract, whatever happens. If I don't know if it would be interesting for Lucasfilm to go the same route as DC at Warner Brothers, in the sense of, hey, let's get a filmmaker and let's get somebody more production based. It would be interesting if maybe they did 2 people, and those 2 people were Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. My hunch would be they wouldn't put Dave Filoni up there, though, even though we all, not all, but a good chunk of the Star Wars fan base would love Dave Filoni to be there. I also kind of agree to a point that I don't know if he's financially the guy that should be in charge in that manner of things. I think Jon Favreau has a better pulse on financial analyst, the actual production aspect of things, from just directing things from a long time ago up to now. Dave Filoni understands that now because he's a producer and director. He's literally run his own TV shows, both live action and animated now, and he's getting ready to work on films. So it's just another day, and it's not out of his ballpark, I guess. But I think Favreau is better conditioned to work in that environment. So I wouldn't be surprised if Filoni ends up staying in that chief. What is he? He's the chief creative officer, CCO.
Yeah.
And then
chief creative officer. Yeah.
Favreau.
Why do they have offices? It's like they're military or something. Why do they have offices?
Yeah. Corporation officer. That'd be funny. People just in the people working under you have to like salute you. That'd be kind of fun.
At least it lets the assassins know who it is they've got to target.
That's true. So, who would be in this not dream scenario, in this general scenario, if Favreau is going to be co-CEO with somebody and Filoni ends up staying as CCO, is there another? Who would you think would be the best person to not replace, but go alongside Favreau as the CEO? Kind of in the same way that James Gunn and Peter Safran run DC. One's been a lifelong producer and one's been a lifelong filmmaker in the directive kind of side of things. Favreau fits both of those bills, but mainly in the directing, acting kind of world, like James Gunn would. Would another producer fit that? Is Lucasfilm? Because DC is also not a huge studio in kind of its own right. It is, and like the same way Marvel is, it immediately teams up with big studios and it works in a similar manner to a big studio. It has its own stuff, kind of, sort of. It's really Warner Brothers.
I don't know. I can't think of anyone.
But yeah, that's where I'm struggling. Would it be better to have a producer mindset, or would it be better to have? Because my kind of thought process goes to, why not somebody like Tony Gilroy from Andor? Why not? Because he would be similar to Favreau in the aspect that he might be a decade older.
Yeah, Andor was good.
I think he'd bring a level of, not, I don't want to say maturity that Star Wars needs or anything like that, just because it's a whole different thing, and it's not that Star Wars needs it. I think Star Wars can fit a lot of different levels of maturity, like they always have, kind of deal. I mean, Clone Wars can go from Yoda making funny little jokes and playing with clone troopers and flinging around droids to Darth Maul stripping panels of ships off of itself to cut or clone troopers in half, walking through hallways. A big wide array of different things that can happen in these movies and shows. So I think there's room for that, but I think Gilroy would be good.
You're also forgetting Vader pulling the ship down from the sky.
Oh yeah, and then juxtapose that with like Young Jedi Adventures going on right now, where you have like a little blue teddy bear, which I did watch some of those with my niece. They're not awful. They're not great, but they're not awful.
They're right for kids.
Yeah.
I don't know the rest of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it a gateway show, to be honest.
No, because it's High Republic, so it's not necessarily a gateway show. My niece watched Tales of the Jedi first and liked it, so we put on that, and it just kind of kept her attention, which was good. She's 2, so you know. Yeah. But
I want 2 things. I want KK gone, and I want a live action Revan. Please, thank you.
Live action what? Revan?
Revan. Yeah, I always want Revan ever since they started making movies again.
Who is? I want to. Who would you cast as Revan, real fast?
I don't know, to be honest.
Everyone's always like Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves. He's too old. I love Keanu, but he's too old for that right now. My thought process would actually be, and it's not possible because he's already Kylo Ren, but Adam Driver looks the most like frickin' Revan, and I think he'd be a good Revan too. It's not doable. Maybe. I don't know.
A movie or a trilogy of movies where you have like Revan fall from his power, like in the games. Revan falls from his seat of power. Malak, his apprentice, takes over, rightfully so, because he thinks Revan's dead. But he also gave the order to kill Revan whilst he was fighting some Jedi on a different ship. I just think that visually it will be outstanding in a live action format.
I agree.
It's just the old Republic stuff will make a fascinating couple of movies or 3 movies.
Do you think James Mangold stuff will lead into an Old Republic? Obviously, it's going to be like the very first Jedi and all that kind of stuff. But maybe not necessarily lead into it, but do you think it'll open the doors for that era? Or those earlier eras, I guess, because they're not necessarily the same quote unquote era.
Well, it depends on how well they do it. Because, I mean, if you look at things nowadays, I mean, we're getting prequels to quite a few things. I mean, for a start, we're getting a prequel to House of Dragons, which is also already a prequel. So we're going back into a time for prequels. More prequels will be okay, but with Star Wars, I mean, the history is literally set in stone, right?
Well, he has a helmet on most of the time, so it's not like he couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, an actor who's playing someone now can play someone that was around 2,000 years ago, because that's when it happened. That's true.
Well, in that case, Adam Driver for frickin' Revan.
Yeah.
I think
his descendants could lead up to Skywalkers or Solo.
Hell, I mean, honestly, that makes sense.
You could link it. Yeah.
It might be a stretch to link it. It might not necessarily need to be linked, but
true.
It would be kind of
have to be, but
it'd be somewhere between contrived and fun. I don't know exactly where it would fall, but it'd be somewhere.
I'm just thinking of the entertainment and the historic references for an old show. That's the thing. That's because lightsabers would be slightly bulkier. That sort of stuff. Now, the simple things to see, because if they go back to the early days of the Jedi, they used swords. Then they started using proto sabers, which are big power pack on them with a cable coming out of the hill.
Which I hope we get in Mangold stuff, but we might just get sword stuff in Mangold stuff. Honestly,
yes, Aegon the Conqueror. You're right, Soko.
Well, we're getting the Aegon the Conqueror prequel series, and don't forget, we're getting an animated prequel series for the Sea Snake as well. So we get Corlys Valerian as well, which would be interesting.
Yeah.
Aegon the Conqueror, I still hope. It's been fan cast so many times, but just put a blonde wig on Henry Cavill, please. I know everyone wants Henry Cavill and everything, but he'd be such a good Aegon the Conqueror. So good. So good. Did I mention it? He'd be so good. Too much
I
to
think you
watch.
mentioned it 1 or 2 times.
I feel so bad for the guy for Argyle. It's not his fault by any means. It's kind of, I don't know if it's Matthew Vaughn's fault. Whoever marketed the thing, I think it's really their fault in the sense of they oversaturated and undersaturated the marketing. They didn't do enough of it, and the things they did, it was so colorful that it almost just fit into everything else because everything else is so colorful right now instead of standing out in any way. And then it made us. It had so many people on the front you didn't know exactly who to lean into, and the 3 people that you did lean into have absolutely nothing to do with the actual story that's going on. It hurt. I think it hurt a little bit.
But when you mentioned earlier about How to Train Your Dragon, it's like I haven't followed up on it, but we know that they're making a live action version. We know that they've technically race changed the love interest and secondary character, second lead, I think she is.
And what?
In How to Train Your Dragon.
Are you talking about the Valerians or
what was it? No, remember you brought up How to Train Your Dragons earlier. In
the live action How to Train Your Dragons.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm with you now. Okay.
Yeah.
The love interest. Yeah, I don't remember her name.
Yeah, the second lead, I think she is, and she's the second most important character other than the dragon.
Other than Sir Toothless himself.
Yeah, she's toothless. Oh yeah. I'm concerned that they might fuck that up. I seriously am. Even worse than they already have by race swapping. If that makes any sense, because as a European, when we see that type of race swapping, where you got a Viking who's suddenly I don't know, what is she? Is she Asian of descent?
Something. I can't remember the actress off the top of my head. Either. I can see where you're coming from. It's if she had the best acting callbacks time and time again, that's one thing.
It's possible that it's good, but How to Train Your Dragon is actually quite close in here. I love those films.
Like Annabeth in Percy Jackson is an example of how to do it kind of the right way recently. Yeah. I don't necessarily think the show was as good as a lot of people were claiming it to be, which was kind of disappointing. But I don't have any fault with, I think, Percy or Annabeth specifically. I think they did just fine with what they were given. I don't necessarily think How to Train Your Dragon is handled the same way because it's not modern day. It is in old times, I guess. So it doesn't necessarily make as much sense, and that might have it might put a weird taste in people's mouth. Not necessarily a bad taste, just a weird taste, kind of like The Little Mermaid did. It's like, oh, well, it's not a bad movie, and it's not like anybody doesn't like the actress or anything. It's just kind of like, whose idea was it, and why did they do it? Are they doing it for the right reasons, or are they doing it for a reason to?
Are they doing it just to tick the boxes?
And that's not respectful.
That's the more common term now, isn't it? They're doing it to tick the boxes.
Yeah, so that's the only, I guess, worry I have with that. But if she had the best,
so hey, we'll see what happens with this new court case with the DEI hiring.
That is interesting. Also, though, it's still the original creator for How to Train Your Dragon, right? I think that's the thing that keeps me just gung ho and happy about it. Is hey, I trust that guy. He did damn good with what we've got.
Hey, we'll probably see what it might be like when Moana live action comes out.
Ooh, that's interesting. But different studio. This is DreamWorks, right?
It doesn't work. Same cast though, isn't it? You got The Rock in it. Yeah, I think the girl's the same girl. I can't remember her name for some reason.
The Rock's in How to Train Your Dragon now?
No, Moana. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I've moved on to something else now. Typical. But yeah. But that's what I mean. So you have to compare it to what happens when Moana comes out, because I reckon Moana's going to come out first, because he basically went into the board and said, "Look what we've got! Oh, it's just about ready to go out. Moana live action."
I think because Moana 2 was already kind of done, or mostly done, because it's coming out this year, which they kind of like sprung on people. Nobody really knew it was happening. I think
animated Moana 2. What, the same year that we're getting Moana live action, most likely?
I bet you we get live action next year, and we get Moana 2 this year. But I bet you they use the live action like announcement and everything like that to throw people off the scent of what Moana 2 is actually doing. I bet that's probably the case there.
It's got to be it, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Just thinking like, hey, if we want to make this a surprise, what's the best way to do? Moana 2 is this November. And that's going to be my niece's very first movie ever. My sister's already decided that, so I got to find a way to go be there. There were black Vikings. Check out Jarl Hakon. Also, Vikings had slaves, so the internet says. Vikings enslaved literally anybody and everybody they got their hands on. I'm definitely not 36% Norse. The other 25% of me was Cherokee, though, so somewhere in my blood, I understand all kinds of things. But modern day, the technology, we don't understand much. I don't know. But anyway.
They were around back then. Even in England, there were different races of people, but they were not common.
Yeah. But then again,
so I can't imagine the Vikings being much different to England back then.
Well, probably not. But that might make it more
but
special.
Not often.
You know?
Yeah.
It might make her character more special if they actually do play on that in like an actual like historically accurate way. It could lead to hardships and good ships in some ways, especially if
it's how it's done. That's which is the problem. It depends on how they've done it. That's the thing I care about the most. Not that they've done it. It's just a concern to me that it's how they've done it, not the fact that they did. If that makes sense.
And hell, we reserve the right to change our opinions when it comes out.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes out, I'm completely different. I might just say it's absolutely amazing. Everyone go and watch it.
As of now, I'm still optimistic. I like that the main creator is still the guy that's doing it. I think that actually should at least help people have peace of mind to a degree. But then again, it could be awful when it comes out, or it might be the best thing in the world. And I hope it's the best thing in the world. But we'll see. Real quick, I know David mentioned this earlier. Gareth Edwards has replaced David Leitch in directing the newest Jurassic Park World film. World film.
It'll be a Jurassic World film, but I think, if I remember correctly, I read an article where they're talking about removing all references from Jurassic Park in the new movie. Because in Jurassic World, they made a point by having the original gates with the Jurassic World logo on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
They're removing all references from the park in the New World movie. And in fact, I'm actually looking forward to the spin-off from Camp Cretaceous. What's it called?
That did look interesting.
Yeah, it did look interesting.
I still haven't watched Camp Cretaceous, but it's something I've wanted to.
Chaos Theory?
That sounds right.
Chaos Theory.
Yeah. I can forgive a lot if the writing's good as well. What do you think about... Obviously, David Leitch is an awesome director, and I was excited for just what his take on Jurassic anything would be. It's kind of not in the wheelhouse of what he would typically direct at all.
No.
But Gareth Edwards, the man who did Godzilla and the man who did The Creator, that's kind of right up his alley.
Remind me what Godzilla he did?
He did 2014 Godzilla. He did the very first
legendary one
for the remake.
That's all right then. That's all right then.
First season was good. Okay. So yeah, I actually think it's kind of right up his alley. I like that the tapping of Gareth Edwards for the director there. I actually think if anyone's going to tackle it, him or no, never mind. I was about to say Roland Emmerich. No, Roland Emmerich might be something in his wheelhouse, but I love me some Roland Emmerich. He does not need to be directing any new Jurassic anything. I always
find this interesting about them announcing the new Jurassic movie when at the end of Jurassic World, what was the last one? What was the title? Jurassic World Dominion, right? At the end, after that was done, they were adamant there's not going to be another Jurassic World movie.
Well, Colin Trevorrow,
but they also said that they're looking to move to a different era from Jurassic Park. So maybe they might. I thought they were going to go with something, maybe the Triassic period instead of the Jurassic dinosaurs, the Triassic dinosaurs. That's what I thought they were going to do. Because I thought that would be interesting because you can move it along and it's like a different era, so you get different animals, you know. I thought that made sense if they were going to do it that way, but the fact that they're doing another Jurassic one is, I don't have a problem with it. It's just, it's the way I thought.
No, that's interesting because I mean, my thought process is even if they do it another era in 10, 15, 20, 30 years, whatever they end up actually doing and choosing, maybe they don't call it Jurassic Park. Maybe they don't call it Jurassic World. I still like the Jurassic Empire title.
Well, I mean, Triassic World works.
But that's a whole different thought process, and I like that a lot too. The only thing that I would think would be weird about that is they were different time periods on the Earth. So the Earth was very, I guess Jurassic ends up, they're able to survive in certain aspects of our planet and how it is.
Well, the Earth apparently, when the dinosaurs were, when the Jurassic period was at height, I think the world was more of a tropical climate all around. Everywhere was more tropical.
That would make sense. Which fits with all the whole, like, I mean, cause a bunch of what Dominion was talking about was like climate things in the world and stuff like that. So it does play into that. Going to a different time period, and maybe the dinosaurs have helped cool the Earth to a degree or something where, I don't know. So there's a lot of different ways where they could write it to change the time period, but to change the time period would be a very interesting route to take. I haven't even thought about that, but I like the idea of it a lot. I've always thought those would be fun other movies. Someone's always needed to make those movies, you know, same idea, just in a different vein.
I mean, I think there was a low budget movie called Triassic Attack as well, I think, if I remember correctly.
I've always
wanted good. But it was there. Someone made it. Yeah.
Pleistocene Park has always been cool sounding to me. I want a bunch of woolly mammoths and woolly rhinos and cavemen and shit.
But they'll all be made out of plasticine.
This is true. You can 3D print them. Which, hey, 3D printing might play into some of these sound stages soon, honestly. Just depends how quickly you can. I mean, they already are with props and stuff like that. But
who needs carpenters now when you can just print a whole wall in a printer?
Jurassic World Apocalypse leads into the next movie, Triassic World. I don't know. There's so many ways.
They won't do it.
Do you remember when they were going to combine Fast and Furious with Jurassic Park? They were in serious talks for that. Like
that was such a stupid idea, though.
I wouldn't be happy.
They're not going to do it right. They'll have Vin Diesel in his Dodge Charger, right, and then a huge T-Rex will come and step on the car. Okay,
caveat: focus more on the dinosaurs and have it like real world, but do it like Lion King live action one, which wasn't really live action. It was just all CG that looked like it.
Jurassic Park and Jurassic World from the dinosaur perspective.
Kind of, sort of, but the human we have, and this is the way that we can maybe help out the Paul Walker estate. Just use CG Paul Walker and have it be a CG movie.
I mean, we did use his brother as a stand-in.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm. That's kind of where I'm thinking. But
makes sense.
We don't need a Jurassic Park Fast and Furious crossover. It would be kind of fun.
No, we don't.
T-Rex with a GoPro.
But Pacific Rim Godzilla crossover, that might work.
Hey. Would it though?
It would work a lot better than some of the other stuff.
It would work a lot better. I'm just thinking like logistically within both those individual worlds. Because there's got to be something that I love that Kong and Godzilla crossover like that, but they're already kind of, I guess Kong's
the same.
Kaiju,
they're in the same universe because it's not the first time Kong's been in a fight with Godzilla. So I mean, it was there was a Godzilla movie. The first one had Kong. I think it was Kong Escapes or something, or the Escape of Kong or something. And that was Godzilla basically fighting Kong, but Kong was tiny compared to Godzilla, not like with Legendary.
Get a big old fist cuff over here with you.
But saying that, I am so looking forward to
it looks like
Godzilla X Kong. It looks so good. And we're seeing so much more of Shimo and the Scar King. Yeah.
I wish they were. Those movies are actually, I think all of them are fairly well done in all of their own rights. The last
one has just blown them out of the water, though.
-1 blows them out of the water easy peasy. But I think they're all fairly well done in their own rights, and they are all really well interconnected. But and I do appreciate that we're just in this world and we're experiencing it with the people and all that. But I wouldn't mind it, and I don't know the best way for them to do it without really like overbearing on the human aspect of things and kind of avoiding the really cool badass monster aspect of things. But because the stories are so interconnected, like Godzilla and then Kong Skull Island have like the son of this character, the nephew of this character, the niece over here, whatever it may be. I wish not that they like honed in on that more, but they just not made it blatantly obvious, but at least kind of let you in on that a little bit more, instead of like, oh, well, I got to remember these characters, not even first names, but their last names from this last movie. And they weren't even like that prevalent because most of the time we're messing around with Godzilla and doing stuff like that, which is good. That's what we want to do. But just to correlate stuff, I think it would help the audiences, and it would help people think of it in a similar way that they think of the MCU or DC, whatever, John Wick, anything with like a linear kind of storytelling kind of mode, because that's what they've done. They've just hopped across that linear path.
There's something I haven't checked the movement on yet for a while. The John Wick anime. I haven't looked anything up about that for a while.
Do you think they're probably not saying much about it right now because they're focusing on
Japan, isn't it? It's being done in Japan because that's where they wanted it done. So
do you think they're probably
you know what they're like? Did we know Toho was making -1? No, we had no idea.
That's a good point.
So it was ready.
Good point.
So yeah, Japan do things a lot differently.
They do
to everyone else. They keep things close to their chest, and they have a dedicated sushi chef in most places, especially when they're making Godzilla movies. And did you hear what Takashi said in an interview where he's saying that if we get a larger budget for another movie, they will renovate the studio and make it more comfortable, just like they did when they found out that they were going to have longer hours when they were doing -1. When he got the sushi chef, because he realized that he wanted them to be comfortable, so he renovated an entire space and made it as comfortable as possible. And he says if he gets to do movies with larger budgets, he'll be increasing all of that and making everything better. He's making Hollywood look like, I don't know. And I wonder if that might have something to do with this strike that you were saying that we know is happening.
Well, yeah, because the SAG actors, like the voice acting aspect of SAG, is going to be coming in soon. That's interesting, especially with what Peter just said. Because hell, he might be making the prisons just a nice, comfy prison instead, But hell, I'm not sure, but that sounds cool. One way or another, I do love what they're bringing out, and I don't necessarily know the process that they use to make those, but but I'm pumped for more Jurassic World. I really am. I may be calling it a day here in a little bit if you're okay with that.
No worries. No worries.
I gotta get on the road here in about 15-20. But anything else that we should talk about before we hop out of here? Anything else that comes to mind? We've covered
not really, no.
The basis of the strikes. We've done some Rushmores. Talked Jurassic World. Talked Avatar: The Last Airbender. Talked a little bit of Bad Batch.
Yeah.
New Halo tonight.
Other things. Yeah.
Excited or not? I believe so. No. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. My bad.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I keep thinking Thursday because I keep thinking Avatar, but Avatar comes out at midnight on Wednesday, which is making me think, pushing me a day forward mentally.
Yeah, I've still got 3 episodes of Constellation to watch.
Aye. That sounds good. I still need to catch up to Masters of Air too, and I think I'm 4 or 5 episodes behind that one.
I've been enjoying Masters of the Air though. I'm not sure how historically accurate there is. There is accuracy there, but it's hard to say, basically. But the fact that they've been losing people in every single episode.
Well, I don't know who gets lost or anything like that, but I like that plays into some of the realism, like the Pacific or Band of Brothers would.
Yeah. But this was, well, Band of Brothers was probably the better one, but that's probably because it was the first time it was done. And Pacific was okay, but it wasn't as good.
I agree. I think Band of Brothers, that cast, just something about the camaraderie of the cast too. It was that first time. They were almost excited to do it, and the Pacific was awesome.
Pacific felt a little bit more political than Band of Brothers did.
Yeah, and I think the approach to it probably was too, in the sense of it wasn't that first time they were doing it. They were like, we have to stick to what this last thing was, but we got to do this, and it was probably more political in approach in a way.
Yeah.
And this one, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay,
but
you should see it.
Before we head out of here, chat, anything else? Anything else in here that we should discuss? While you're at it, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, because that's helpful and it's nice. We appreciate it very much so, very very much so.
It's always good.
I'll say what?
I say it's always good.
Damn right. And while you're here, of course, and if you're checking this in the future, go check out Mr. Melvin's Sci-Fi Quest channel right there. That's the way. Right there. This is the way.
This is the way.
Yes, it is.
This is the way.
All the above. A poll on how long Jamie stays awake Friday. We do need to do that. I want to. We need like a bracket or something. I don't know how to do those little brackets. I don't ever do sports betting, but those little sports betting brackets. But just do like nap in this. How many naps will he take in the first 3 hours? How many in the second 3 hours? How many in the third 3 hours? Fourth 3 hours? All the above. Pulling how long Jamie stays awake? 4 hours.
You know what the poll should be, really? The poll should really be how long before Jay needs a pee.
Well, no, there needs to be like a couple ones. There needs to be an awake one. There needs to be a pee break bracket.
How long before he needs a pee? How many times he's going to need to pee?
There should also be how many coffees and how many pints.
How many coffees? How many pints? Everything.
The real.
How many packets of crisps?
It'll be confusing if he starts making Bailey's Irish whiskey, and then we'll be like, well, he's up.
Well, better turn it off. He's going to bed now.
But yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. I'm pumped. Y'all come say howdy, and also spot on Peter about 11 a.m. Spot on Peter about 11 a.m. morning nap time. Yep, sounds about right. But everybody should hop on, especially those of you that are here right now. I think we're all the kind of like intricate. We're the sidetrack crew in a way, So everybody come hop on the stream with Jamie because we can. We might as well. Yeah. It's gonna be a fun one. I'll hop in. I do have 2 movies I'm seeing on Thursday, tomorrow, whatever day in the week it is now. Tomorrow. So I thought he was gonna do it while Thursday was going on. I might go just see more movies on Friday too, just for the sake of it, depending on what I actually have to get done in the day. But if I am able to go to see a movie or 2, I will go and then come back and give y'all something to talk about too.
Yeah, well, tomorrow what I'll probably be doing is I'll probably watch half the season of The Last Airbender, and then watch the rest later. Just because I've got another stream to get ready for, so I'm not going to have the time to watch all of them.
For a hangout tomorrow, is it just Bad Batch, or are we talking Avatar or something else too?
Oh, we can talk about pretty much anything. It's just a hangout, no specific subjects. I just want to add it because obviously we couldn't do one tonight, so.
How long before he's passed out drunk? Depends on if it's a Bailey's Irish whiskey or if it's just pint and then coffee and then pint and then coffee, because then they might counteract each other a bit more. But if he goes Bailey's route, The man could be up for a week. We don't know. Or he could be up for 7 minutes instead of 7 days. But
I don't think he's like me. I don't think he has insomnia that keeps him up for days at a time.
We'll see. But yes, fun as always. We'll see you, Sarah. I don't think I'm seeing another movie today. I'm seeing Oscar Shorts today. But I'll hopefully get an out of theater reaction to you tomorrow for the couple of things I do see. And if I do see anything on Friday as well, I will let you know. And that will be coming y'all's way. It'll be fun. Anything else that you want to promote, put out there or say?
Well, just take care all. Stay safe. And may the Schwartz be with you.
May the Schwartz be with you. We out, y'all. Toodles, y'all.